good questions. It's funny, purchasing or getting new albums now hasn't changed at all for me, and has changed completely. And that means that I still go to record stores as much as I can, especially when I'm out of town somewhere. I'll look up a local record store and try to find it on tour, or even just going 2 hours out of town and having dinner somewhere and then stopping by a record store as well. But so I still go to record stores. I still get the thrill and just the excitement of what they have, and maybe I'll find some gem. And so I still do that. But I also I buy albums online as well. And without the physical product, I'll just get the direct download. Not as much as I buy physical records.
So I feel shameful answering this question because I'm not going to be like, well, I collect vinyl and I have 985 records at my house like Will does. But that's badass that Will does that.
I bought my truck before there was Bluetooth, before there was kind of like an auxiliary, I guess, patch hole to, put your iPod in. So I still had CDs, and like a great deal of CDs, and I would always buy actual product, and CDs because I could hear them in my truck. And when I first got my truck, I got it in 2004, and it's big, and it's black, and I used to call it my big black CD player. So, and I still love cranking CDs in my truck.
Well, I used to, just like with everybody in my age range or older, you used to those days of going to the record store, buying the record and, looking at the cover art and, sometimes taking a chance that this looks really cool, I'm going to buy it. You don't know what the music sounds like, That's how I purchased my music growing up.
When I was a kid, the best way to get as many CDs as possible was to join Columbia House and BMG Music. I think Columbia House had like 12 CDs for 1 cent, and I think BMG had something like buy 5, get 6 free CDs. So when I was originally trying to build my CD collection, after the tapes were kind of transitioning out, CDs were coming in. And that was how a lot of times I got my CDs, was through BMG. Oh, dude, you really want me going deep about this? And then Best Buy came out, and Best Buy didn't have the best security. And I found it just super convenient to be able to steal CDs from Best Buy, until I turned 18. I knew I could get away with all that until I was 18. I think I single-handedly probably caused them to raise all their prices on their product, because I could walk out with 5 CDs in this armpit, I could walk out with 5 CDs in this armpit, I could fit 4 in here and 2 back here. And I could go twice a day, so I could get maybe like 20 CDs in a day. So back in the day, it was a lot of times it was CD, and every now and then you had to purchase a CD just so they didn't get too used to your face coming in there and not buying anything.
I like to buy at least the actual stream of the song. I purchase them, and then they live in my little cloud, I guess, now. I haven't bought a CD in a long time, but I was for a great deal of time, but then I started buying, just the downloads, and I burned CDs so I could listen to them in my big black CD player on wheels.
As far as buying CDs, I don't really buy CDs anymore. I collect vinyl, or if I want something from my phone, I'll buy it like a direct download. Just having CDs seems to be a nuisance a little bit. So that's changed for me.
I'll put it on FM radio, and where it is, it's always on the last station that comes in, that gets reception here in San Francisco, and I start with that, and if it's a song I like, I keep it on that. If it's not a song I like, I'll forward it until there's something that catches my attention. And I'll do that between every CD I listen to. And I'll find stuff on FM radio that I, would have never discovered. And if there's a song I like, I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'll try to listen. And before there was Shazam or anything like that, I'd pull over, if the reception got bad, and I'd listen to the end hoping the DJ would say who it was. Or to this day, I'll Shazam it though if I'm driving. But I've discovered a lot of music, and I'm not, there's not many metal stations in San Francisco at all anymore. So I mean, this is anything from alternative music to, just 70s music to literally light rock or stuff like that, or pop, something I like that catches my ear. So I get turned on to a lot of that. But what I do, if I like the song, I will actually, if I get it on Shazam, I'll actually buy the song. And then I'll listen to samples on iTunes you know. And if I like more than one song, I'll buy the record. I don't have, what's that account, that thing people like, just if you're curious about a band, yeah, Spotify. I don't have Spotify.
By this point in time, I mean, I pretty much have my Spotify playlist going and all the shit that I love on there, and I hit shuffle and go through my whole day, and it's just going and going and playing everything I love, and including shit that I never had before. So I have to say, as a person who just wants to hear a lot of music, I had to give in to the convenience of online streaming.
Oh, and then there was a period where the internet was hot. And I remember going to websites like, I remember there'd be like news groups, but then I also remember there were places like metalrules.com where you could go on bulletin boards and people would be like telling you about Meshuggah or Nevermore or In Flames. And I think that's where I found out of all three of those bands was probably from a heavy metal bulletin board when I was like 17 or 18. As for now, where I find a lot of my music is, a lot of times it's word of mouth. There's so much product out there, there's so many bands, there's so many mediums that it's almost more difficult to find music with how much there is than it was before when you only had so many options. Because they talk about that, the FOMO, fear of missing out, or fear of having too many options or whatever. But there's so many options now that it's kind of trickled down through a recommendation process at this point. And if I like something, if I'm really into something, at this point I get the digital download and I buy the record. I want the vinyl, I want the big art, I want to spin it, and then for convenience, I have it on my phone and a digital download. The CD doesn't really often, it's not as common in my collection anymore.
My wife usually has Spotify or Slacker, and sometimes you have those. If you like these artists, you might dig these type of artists. So we usually put it on shuffle, and sometimes on shuffle you just hear something, you go, whoa, who's that? And you kind of look at it and go, oh, this new art. I never heard of this artist before, but I like the song, I should check it out.
Going down the rabbit hole of clicking the box next to it like that. So on YouTube is another thing. So I'll be like checking stuff out on YouTube, and one thing will lead to the other, and pretty soon I'm just clicking the guy on the side to see the new stuff popping up. So it's getting fed to me and I'm eating it.
So I usually stream it on Spotify, but every now and then if I don't make it like, oh, I'm gonna buy this. If I happen to be on their website and I really dig the artist from discovering him through streaming, then if I'm on their website or they have something cool to offer, I usually do buy it through their website and whatnot. That's one way I discover bands. Another way is the old-fashioned way, word of mouth. Sometimes we're on tour, you meet your fellow peers or some friends and they tell you, hey, you heard of this group? You heard of that group? And sometimes you just hear the same name over and over again that you just end up looking them up and checking them out. So that's the couple of ways I discovered new music.
Yes, I have a record player and various CD players and cassette players, but and I have, of course, listened to all that and bought many a record in my lifetime. But I'm rolling with the modern and listening to stuff that way these days. I may go back and start flipping vinyl here and there, but I just don't have that much time for that right now.
So yeah, I do both. I do the new style and the old style. More of the old style, and I'm not against downloading the digital downloads at all. But I figure getting a record, you get so much more. You get the actual artwork to look at, and it comes with a poster or stickers, or you can't get so much shit just getting a direct download. So that's why I prefer records.
I was fortunate enough though to get a turntable again. Maybe like it's been 3 years ago now. And since that, I had some vinyl that I didn't get rid of over the years, but my vinyl collection now has gotten it's pretty impressive now. So I've been buying a lot of vinyl, and I go to record stores all the time, all over the world, and I buy vinyl, and I love vinyl. I'm still trying to replace the records I got rid of over the years that I sold, and I've replaced a lot of them. And but I've also replaced some records that my dad had that were very significant to me growing up, that my nephew got.
There's a thing called Gimme Radio came along, which I DJ for. I have a radio show. It's a free heavy metal 24-hour radio station. It's free to download on your phone or your computer. And I have a show on there called Full Metal Jacket. And so I have free reign to play whatever I want. All the DJs have free reign to play whatever they want. So with that being said, I listen to a lot of the other shows because 24 hours, each show is 2 hours long. So I hear a shitload of new bands every day, like on Gimme Radio. It's pretty mind-blowing how many bands I've discovered, and it's usually cool shit. So that's the main source right now. And I'm not just trying to sell myself. I mean, it's true.
These days, I definitely spend much more time playing music and working on music than looking for new bands to listen to in this phase that I'm into. Then there'll be other times where I'm just looking around and trying to listen to other stuff. But sometimes when I'm like in the kind of the writing phase and the creative point, I just kind of love the artists that I've always been loving, and I like so many different artists that I've worshipped for all these years that's my influence. Like, that's the flavor that I like, and when I listen to new music, I like checking it out to see what's out there, but it just doesn't hit me as a musical influence per se. So it's in this era, I'm looking for stuff to spark my creativity. So I'll just listen to the things that I've been loving all along.